Hi guys, it's Gigi. Today I posted a photo on my Instagram and I asked you guys if you had any questions for me because after I posted my wedding video, I had so many questions about the wedding and about just like life update stuff. I have my phone right here. I thought we could just dive in. And if you haven't seen Nats and I's wedding video, I will link it down below. And that video is kind of our way of just having you guys all at the wedding and sharing like our special day with you. I got a lot of comments saying like, oh, I thought you guys were gonna go really over the top and have like 500 people there, but seeing from the footage, you can literally tell that it was just our closest friends, people we really love, of course our families, and that's it. We wanted it to truly be something that we could talk to everybody, we could take in the moment and not be overwhelmed, because anybody out there that's been married knows so much time, so much fucking money, so much planning goes into this day. We wanted to be selfish about it, as I feel every person who's getting married should be, and have it just be our moment. And it really was so perfect. Like, we were so lucky with the weather, we were so lucky with the venue. Everyone came except 2 people, and those 2 people will remain unnamed, which is also, side note, something that I learned wedding planning. It is very expensive for every person to be there. So if you're invited to a wedding and you RSVP saying I will be there and you just ghost, that is literally one of the rudest things that you can do, because the brides or whoever are taking into consideration your seating chart, what you're gonna eat. They're planning for your body to be there at the wedding. So I will say no more of that because it's just so rude. One of the #1 questions I got asked after people saw the wedding video and they noticed that Nats had a cane walking down the aisle. We unfortunately got into a little accident a month before the wedding. She had me on her lap and she was like bouncing me like a baby. And no, it was not sex. We were literally outside listening to music. She was like lip syncing and we were just like having fun. I fell and all of my weight went on her knee. So I tore her meniscus. We went to the doctor and he was like, you need to fix this. You need surgery. Like, absolutely, you 100% need surgery. And we were gagged because we're like, we've been planning this wedding for almost a year and we really don't want to just like tell everyone, the venue, the food, the vendors, we just be like, oh, hold off another 2 months. So Nats, being the best wife, I still have to pinch myself, wife, was like, I will wait until after the wedding to get my surgery. So she decided that a cane was her best fit. And honestly, if you ask me, I think her suit, which I had no idea about, both of our outfits were completely secret for one another. We didn't spend the whole morning together. We did not see each other until walking down the aisle, which if I have any advice, I definitely recommend that because it just makes the moment so much more major. Like, you're like, that is my person at the end of that aisle. But yes, last week she had her knee surgery and I was at lunch waiting for, like, down the street, waiting for her to be done surgery. So I get a call from the doctor and I like pick up on the first ring. I'm like, is she okay? Like, how did it go? He's like, I don't know what to say to you right now, but she has had an amazing recovery. I don't know what you guys have been doing, but she fully healed. And this is literally like the knee and shoulder doctor in LA. Like, he's like the one. So for him to say that he's never really seen this before is actually crazy. She went under anesthesia. She went through the whole surgery, but he went into her knee and literally was like, oh my God, it is completely repaired. Like, the tear has like healed. So I don't know if it was the power of love or just being really bomb on her crutches. I don't know, but that is why she had a cane. She's healing and her knee is going to be back to normal in no time. Another question that I got a lot were the outfits. So we had a 4-day wedding weekend. We had the rehearsal dinner, we had the wedding day, we had a party after, which had a theme, and then we had a brunch the next day. And we ended up staying another day and just like chilling by the beach. But for my side, I decided to go with Michael Costello, who I am obsessed with. He's just one of the most feminine, glamorous designers that I've ever seen. I really just felt comfortable with him because very recently he asked me to walk in his New York Fashion Week show. So I reached out. I was not expecting the response that I got. He literally was like, oh my God, of course I would love to make your dresses. Come on in for a fitting as soon as possible. I'm like, oh my God, like, he is so busy and like he dresses everyone. So I was really gagged when he said yes. All of our fittings were amazing. He's like very collaborative. Anything that I was iffy about, he's like, no, I see you don't like that. And I wanted just the most, you know, I wanted like a glamorous dress that was super me and out there, but also something super modern. And he also did the bridesmaids dresses. We created everything completely custom and I'm just obsessed. Thank you, Michael. Except I'm sorry if you're watching this, Michael and his team. Tiffany actually ended up getting her dress ripped open from the bottom up, like the top of the slit, up to like her stomach. So yeah. Someone asked, what was your favorite part and what was your least favorite part? I don't know if this is best or worst moment, but the way that the resort is set up was there's mountains over here, then the hotel, then the courtyard where we got married, and then there's like a railroad track, which still is like working, where you can cross and then down to the beach. So we were told that the train only goes once an hour on the hour. And we had mapped it out that the train wouldn't be coming during our vows or during our ceremony, like walking down the aisle or anything like that. So I walk up, Nat sees me, I see her, and we're gagging. She says her vows. Mindy Weiss, our angel of a wedding planner, who also officiated our wedding for the first time ever. Little side note, Mindy is such an amazing wedding planner that she got officiated for all of the weddings that she's done over the years, and she's literally done so many weddings. The only reason that she got officiated was because she was scared that somebody on the day wouldn't show up and she would have to take on that role and marry the couple, which had never happened. We were recommended by a close friend, but when we met her, we were like, bitch, we feel like connected to you. Will you marry us? And when we asked her that, she started crying, but she did such a good job. Me and Nats are really, really thankful. But I was saying my vows, and I'm gonna say my vows were like 5 minutes long. Literally 1 minute into my vows, I hear like the ding, ding, ding of the train, and I'm like, I see through like the white trees that a train is like coming. Like the red lights are going, the things are coming down. It's like a moment. I'm like, great. And I was just about to get to like my sentimental part in my vows. So we wait like a minute for it to go by. And then I'm like, okay, back into it. I thought in the moment that it was a disaster. But honestly, after I talked to Nat, she was like, that was like adorable. The way you handled it was good. And then once I talked to everyone throughout the rest of the night, they were like, that was a really cute moment. Like you never really get that. That was unexpected. I was just gagged. I'm like, oh my God, it's ruined. My one bridezilla moment. Were you scared right before walking down the aisle? If I could tell you my freak out, it was beyond. So I was upstairs in our room getting ready, and I just had my hair girl, Ironelle, there. I just had Michael there. I had my dad there. There was like no one left in the room because all of me and my bridesmaids and Mark got ready together. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. They're like downstairs lining up, ready to go. I go downstairs. There's like these beautiful spiral stairs down with like bars so you could see the wedding dress. Anyways, just something out of a fairy tale. I was so nervous, I wasn't even thinking. I walk around the corner and I see everybody lined up. So I'm like, oh my God, I gotta go. Mindy's team, Michael, Ironella are like, no, get back. Like Nats is gonna see you, she's right there. So I like try to turn around in my dress. My train was like fucking Princess Diana long. I'm like looking around like, oh my God, did she see me? I was in the clear. Right before, I was holding my dad's hand. We were walking up and there was like 3 walls. So when you walk around, it's like the first time people see you kind of thing. It's like a whole reveal moment. I was the last one to go with my dad, and I heard people in the audience like screaming. Not like subtle screaming, like horror movie screaming, or like somewhat of like a concert. I'm like, is Gaga here? Like, what is going on? Aren't they supposed to be walking? This is my wedding. But once I walked around the wall with my dad, everyone started screaming again, and I was like, oh, they're screaming for like us, the people walking. I was just like, what? Okay. It was crazy. The dress was super tight on my waist, so I was just like going through it. I'm like, oh my God, do I look good? Dad, are you okay? Are you gonna cry? Am I gonna cry? Is Nat's even at the altar at the end of this aisle? Actually, speaking of Lady Gaga, we had a wedding crasher the first night, the wedding rehearsal night. We were outside, like at the restaurant area, like on the patio, kind of like by the courtyard. And I remember seeing this guy. I was like, is he an actor from a movie I know? Is he like some kind of YouTuber's dad? Or is he like just from my neighborhood? I know this man. So the night goes by. The next day, I wake up and someone from Nat's bridal party was like, oh my God, I was hanging with Christian last night. And I'm like, who's Christian? She's like, Lady Gaga's ex. I was like, oh my fucking God, that was him. Like, not a lookalike, not a doppelganger. This was Christian. It was literally him. And I don't know his last name, but you guys know, Lady Gaga's ex. So, fast forward a few hours, we are at the reception, which is dinner. I do my dance with Nats, we do the speeches, I do my dance with my dad, I go back to sit down because they're like zhuzhing or whatever, and I look to my left at the bridal table, mind you. Our setup was like so intense, I knew where everybody was because I did it, like the seating chart. So I look to my left, I'm supposed to see 4 bodies. I see 4 bodies, but one of them was not in my bridal party. One of them was Christian. I literally just glanced over, like just like scanning the room. I glance over, I make eye contact with him, and I look back and I'm like, oh, it's him again. It's like the ghost of Christmas past. He never leaves. The way he looked at me too, it was like very like lean back, like on the chair, and just like, I think he even did like a Like at me. I'm the fucking bride and you're at my bridal party table crashing the reception. At the beginning of this video, I said it was rude that 2 people that RSVP didn't come. It is even more rude to crash a wedding, something I've done, but I didn't sit at the table during dinner while food and drinks are still being served. I mean, did he watch me and my dad have my first dance? Did he watch Nats and I have our first dance? Did he see our speeches? Like what, looking back on it, I probably should have just gone up to him and been like, hello, like you were not invited here, but I was like really excited to dance because it was like finally everything was done. It was time to finally celebrate. Everything had gone to plan. I didn't really want any drama. And also I was just like mingling. Like I had so many people to talk to. But bitch, when I say he was like 10 feet from me, just like smug looking back, like, hey. Are you even staying here? Like, do you just come to this hotel? And I won't even tell you what he did with my friends, 2 friends. And I've seen texts and receipts, if you will. But no, that's not this kind of video. Anyways, moving on, more questions. That was a little just story time. How does it feel to be a wife of Mrs. Getty? So this is the most. I mean, honestly, when me and Nats got engaged, I was like, okay, I need to stop saying girlfriend. I need to start saying fiance. But fiance to wife, like wife, is something completely different because being married is like a trip. Not only friends, but like random people now are like, Mrs. Getty. It sounds very, very, very married to me, and I'm no longer like a miss. Like I am a Mrs. Just going through that like name change process again is really, really crazy because I've been through it before and it was life-changing. So when I get the forms back with my new identity, it's gonna be like, bitch. I'm married. It's gonna be crazy. A lot of you guys have asked, like, how does it feel being a wife? Like, what's different? What's changed? And honestly, my answer is the same as when I got engaged. I just feel more secure in my relationship and I feel more safe. It's like that next step of commitment that you work for in a relationship, and like that's exactly what I want with Nats, and that's what we did. It feels just good, honestly. Like I wake up, I'm like, oh, that's another thing. Also, one of the only thing that's really changed is like I look down and now I see more rings. I'm just like, oh, okay. It's not just the engagement ring, bitch. There are wedding bands. And me and Nats decided to do 2 wedding bands for each other. I mean, I love you is 3 words. I just had thought of the ring that I had given Nats surrounded by 2 other rings, kind of to like make one big force that symbolizes our love and like means I love you. And it's like sandwiching our engagement for something more powerful and meaningful. And a lot of people were like, no, that's not right. You need 1 wedding band. But we also got married on a Friday, and apparently that's weird too. Every single person was like, are you sure it's July 12th? That's a Friday. You're not getting married on the weekend? We were like, no, because July 12th, if you guys watched the wedding video, is my mom's birthday, and that was actually Nats's idea. We were actually driving back from our first Mindy Weiss meeting, and we weren't even sure we were gonna go with her, and we were like, when are we getting married? Like when? She so casually was just like driving. She was like, why don't we get married on your mom's birthday? It just came out of nowhere. And she was like, yeah, like I've been thinking about it and I feel like it would make sense and it would be the perfect timing. I was like, oh, yes, that's perfect. Even if it was like a fucking Monday or Tuesday, we would have done it on that day because Nats knows how much it means to me, and Nats is also really connected to my mom, so it just worked out. Also, speaking of my mom, so at the wedding, we had in the front row, right next to my dad, an empty chair for her because I knew she was gonna be there, but I wanted her to have a seat in the front row. And we also had like this little glass ladybug on her chair. It was just so beautiful. Like I could go back so many times and do that whole weekend again, do that whole experience. I really felt her there. I really felt her happy for me. I know she was there. And since then, funny enough, August, my brother-in-law, has seen 2 ladybugs, one of which was at Disneyland, which landed on the back of his neck, and one of which was in his hotel room or something like that, or at his apartment. I haven't seen one in a while, but he's seen 2, so she must be hanging with him. Mom, come hang with me. All right, so I didn't even realize the time. I've been talking for so long. I've got to get going, but I wanted to answer one last question. When are you guys going on your honeymoon? I know Nats just had surgery. So yes, this is why we didn't go on our honeymoon, because Nats had surgery 1 week after we got married, so there was no really point. And also, I feel like spreading out the fun is so much better. Like going straight from a wedding to a honeymoon is super traditional and really, really fun, I would imagine. But I feel like me and Nats are so not traditional, and like everything we do, we kind of just do in like our own pace. So her surgery recovery was priority. We got that done. Once she recovers, we'll get to planning the honeymoon, and then we'll have a whole other celebration. But yeah, those are all the questions I could answer for right now. I'm sorry if yours weren't answered. I really tried to do the ones that I had the most of. If you guys have any other questions, be sure to leave them below. I will try to respond to as many question comments as I can that I did not answer in this video. But yeah, I gotta get going, and thank you for all the support on the wedding. Nat sends her love. She is on bed rest right now. I love you guys so much, and until I see you guys next time, stay gorgeous.